Hi, I want to talk to you about cognitive coaching. This is something that goes along really well with your supervision assignment. When you are having conversations, pre-conferences and post-conferences with teachers, knowing how to conduct those conversations um, and conferences is really, really important. Cognitive coaching provides some very useful information about how to do that. I've included these 5 handouts in your D2L, and you can find them there. And I would just want to quickly look at them and talk briefly about them. The first one is called is an overview. I didn't actually go over all of this the other day in class. Hopefully I can get it to show up in here. This is like your quick down and dirty what is cognitive coaching. But it's to help a person get from where they are to where they want to be. And it's the way that the coach actually talks with the mentee or with the colleague that you're working with. Within this document, it says that the coach's process is to lead the internal thinking process of the person that you're working with so that they can begin to see how to change their own behaviors and get better at what they do. And so on this page, within this page, you have some information about cognitive coaching. You have examples of the planning conversation. And there's a map of how to prepare for a pre-observation conference or plan that you would be working on somebody with. So here's an example of it. And in this plan, you can see that the first thing that you do is clarify goals. You ask the person what are the success indicators that they would recognize for being successful in whatever their goals might be. Then you ask them what approaches or strategies that they are going to do in the class to try to reach the goals that they've established. And then you ask them what is it they want to learn from this process, and then you reflect on the process itself. Some tools to help you do that are to pause. Pausing helps you actually listen to what the other person's saying and not fill in all the blanks with your own talking. You want to listen, and that's the whole idea of coaching, is to really listen to what someone says and then paraphrase what they say to make sure you're clear about it. To probe them, to ask more questions about what they have said so that you can be absolutely certain what they're saying and that they can be certain what they're saying. And that helps you pay close attention to the other person. I'm not going to go through all of the parts of this document, but after you have observed, then there is what we call a reflective conference, or this isn't a good example for the post-observation conference, where they summarize the impressions of what went on, analyze what caused it, and construct new learning and commit to new learning and reflect again on the process. You can look at the rest of this and see what else is there. I want to close this one and go to the next document, which is coaching conversations and questions. This tells you a little bit more about what cognitive coaching is, and then then you can see on here how the planning conversation might proceed depending on what it is you're trying to do in the planning conversation. If you want to describe the purpose of the lesson, then here's some actual questions that you might be able to use to do that. So here's what I call a great cheat sheet for trying to get at what it is you want to accomplish in your conference. And here's another example of the same types of questions when you're doing your post-observation reflective conversation. Actual questions that you can use. So these I find are very helpful until you learn how to kind of do questioning. So hold on, I want to get to the next one. The third handout is called a mentor tip sheet. Again, it is examples of ways that words you can use depending on what it is you're trying to accomplish. Excuse me, I hit the pause button accidentally. So if you're trying to clarify, you could say, would you tell me a little bit more about? Tell me what you mean when you say. If you're trying to analyze, what's another way of that you might do this? How did you decide? So these are some questions that make your conference work for you, make it more meaningful and helpful to the person that you're working with. So again, another type of cheat sheet. When you're planning your conferences, please use these as ways to decide what is it I'm going to ask, what questions am I going to ask. And the final two handouts are, one is a more just simply the planning conversation itself and some of the questions that you can use there. And the third one is the two coaching maps together, the planning and reflecting maps, so that you can kind of use those as a cheat sheet as well. So we talked about this in class. Some of you missed it. Maybe this will help a little bit, trying to show you how to merge cognitive coaching with the developmental supervision process that you're going to be using in your assignment.